we can see, if you were listening to what Warren said, what year was Maria Montessori born in? So we'll see if everybody goes to where the first person went. That's behaviorism. Yes. She was born in 1870 in Chiaravalle, Italy. What was her first position as a doctor? Because as she told you earlier, she was the very first lady doctor to have her degree in Italy. Did she work as a pediatrician? Did she never practice? Did she work in a psychiatric ward or as an orthopedist? Well, no. She was in the psychiatric clinic and she observed, Maria said idiotic. The term that I found was phrenesthenic. And what does phrenesthenic mean? Relating to phrenesthesia. So idiotic, imbecile, a feeble-minded person. So basically all these men had this woman who had a degree and they didn't know what to do with her. What are we gonna have her do? She's a woman, she probably, you know, got her degree out of luck. So, so they gave her the word that nobody wanted to deal with, and they said, you know, why don't you go and take care of them? Because it was like a motherly thing as well. And so, where was her first school? Do you know? Was it in a poor neighborhood, privileged area, in the hospital, or in New York? We're in America, so you know. Yes, it was in a poor neighborhood in Rome. So this is really important because it was a combination of both. What she learned from the idiotic children in the hospital was that by giving them the right kind of materials, they were learning just as normal children would. Not at the same pace, obviously, but they were learning when everybody thought that they couldn't learn. And then she moved to a poor area where children weren't stimulated enough. And she found the same thing, so she applied the same concept that she had observed on the idiotic children and applied them to the normal but poor children. And it worked too. So then she decided, okay, I have a method. Here are a few quotes that I just liked because they're going to strengthen what I'm going to say afterwards. So follow, study, study, observe. Observe is really important in a Montessori environment. And as we train to become a teacher, we have to go on observation internships. And then we learn that even when we become a teacher, we have to stand down and observe children very regularly and take notes because the children have to guide you. It's the educator's job to facilitate the natural process of learning. So that's also very important because in traditional education, a lot of people believe that children come as empty and we need to fill them up with knowledge. Montessori believed that children were full of potential and it was the teacher's role to release it in the most natural way. What else? I like this one as well. The highest honor and deepest gratitude you can pay me is to turn your attention from me in the direction in which I'm pointing to the child. And so the child is really at the center of the whole pedagogy. And I think you'll see in the next slides that, and I like that, I posted that on our Facebook page. Never help a child with a task at which he feels he can succeed. Now, I said this as a challenge to parents. Try and count how many times you help your child when he hasn't asked for anything and he can probably do it on his own, but just you don't have time or you want to go quicker. So if you start counting the times during the day and you suddenly notice, then you understand that you are stopping his development. And the environment. We said, if one word, the environment. It's all about preparing the environment into which the child is going to come and use his potential. So this is just like a quick graphic to explain the pedagogy. Every child is unique and is at the center. If you give him sensorial materials adapted to their period, what they're ready to learn, and you constantly enable them to repeat and concentrate, because concentration comes from repetition, and that I'm going to show in the apps. And you give them autonomy that builds their self-confidence. Each material will tackle one single concept at a time, but by doing that again and again, they will go towards generalization of concepts. And so all of this can be called the prepared environment. Okay, so just keywords. I said observation, concentration through repetition, autonomy, respect individual rhythm, and I think the iPad is great for that as well. Sensorial education, and I said yesterday, I think the problem with, that's why we love the iPad or the touch tablets in general, because when the computer was there, the mouse was between the child and the screen. Now you can touch and something happens straight away, and that's really important. Self-correcting materials, one concept at a time. Mixed ages, that's more complicated on the device. 3-period lessons, so first lesson is you show the child, second lesson is you make sure that he understood, and third period is he gives you his version of the lesson. Work is motivation, so that's debatable, but I think that's what she found from her work, and it came from the environment that she was in, is that motivation is intrinsic to the work. And you do observe it in small children. You ask them for a task and they are just so happy to be doing it. They don't need the cookie or the whatever to have to do it. The satisfaction and the gratification comes from doing it. Teacher acts as a guide and reality. So Maria Montessori wouldn't have liked all the books where bears talk or crocodiles go to the dentist, because they are not reality. And so what do you think she would have said about digital media based on everything that I said? It's the devil, don't even let your child close to a device, observe your child and you will know what to do. Come on, 2 hours a day won't hurt. Or go ahead and just add them straight away. Yeah. I think she would have said observe, because first of all she was a scientific woman, so she wouldn't have just discarded it, and she would have she respected all reasonable forms of activity as long as a child is engaged and is trying to understand it. So what shouldn't we find in apps? And I have a few examples. So have clutter, noise, give negative feedback, forget to show them what you expect from them, force progression, show more than one concept at a time, and interrupt concentration. So this has two things. So what's the point of this? You know? Can you hear 9? The voice said it, but the music is so loud. So, clutter, noise. Okay, that's another point. We touched about it yesterday. Yeah, advertising. But anyway, that wasn't my point on this one. So too much noise, clutter everywhere. The child doesn't know what he's learning. Second of all, and this, I'm not judging any other apps. I really tried to take some things out of them because some of these apps I really like. So it's not, I don't want to generalize that these are bad apps. That's not my message here. This is a beautiful app. It's beautifully designed. Okay. I was playing this yesterday. And so the 3 objects were here, right? And then you have to mix and match. But I was stuck on the mouse. I was looking at for mouse. And I was like, okay, it's a mouse. And I couldn't find, my mind was so geared towards that mouse that I just wasn't looking for the magnet. I was looking for a mouse. And so I think it's useless in this context to have these little designs on the letters. You can have them here if it's a phonics alphabet and you just touch and hear the letter sound, but in this context, it's Flutter. It doesn't help the child learn anything. On the contrary. These are 2 different apps where the child gets the letter, but then nothing happens. So, right or wrong, sure. I mean, nothing is right or nothing is wrong, but if you're not going to show him how to trace the D, then how do you expect him to learn? So I just did anything inside, which is, you know, debatable. It's okay, but if you don't show him what is expected of him, then he can't just learn. And it was the same here. You have the and did you notice that this one has this, and this one is just a straight line. And I don't have the feet and the eyes and the arms. This one.
Can you count the number rod and drag it into the right number?
Okay, Maria wouldn't have liked that. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No. I mean, it's very well that it goes back to where it was. That's enough for him to know that it's not the right answer. Try again. The uh-oh is sort of, you stupid person. More than one concept at a time. In this image, you can imagine it's for like a 2.5 or a 3-year-old. What are we trying to teach him? Colors or shapes? Touch a rectangle. Okay. So, but why are they all? They're stimulating. It's stimulating more than one thing at a time. So, am I looking for a color or for a shape? So, just try to focus on one concept at a time. One concept at a time. This is so typical of alphabet apps. Good. So we learn the letter sounds, right? That's how you learn to read. You learn the letter sounds. So where's G in giraffe? I can't hear it. I think that's more common sense, but anyway. This was baffling to me. Like, what are they expecting from me? It's a matching app. Find the 2 things that match. Can you see anything that matches?
9 and 4, but it's really nice.
I mean, come on. Does this match? No, in what dimension? Yeah, quantity. But isn't it more baffling than anything else? And this was my point on repetition leads to concentration, and when you observe children, and this is one thing that, you know, when parents test your apps, they're like, this is boring. I've already done this once and twice. Yeah, but children like to repeat. You know how they just repeat over and over and over again? So you can't force them to repeat, but you can enable them to repeat if they like. So what I find in this app is that there should also be the possibility to do it again. Maybe they really enjoyed this activity, they want to do it again. Whereas here, it's either you close the activity or you move on to the next one. Any questions?
What are they supposed to do?
This is the addition table where the answers are not there and you have to select which number goes.
There's no order for where it goes.
So on the other hand, I'm going to show you, and again, even my apps are not 100%, she wouldn't approve of 100% of the content. There is no judging here. I'm just trying to show evidence. I'm going to try and show you how we did the opposite, where we showed them once what we expected from them, where we scaffold the activities, let them repeat, and let them concentrate. Oh, I missed one. The concentrate for long periods of time. I can show you the app. It's this one. So it's a cute little app, but when you go into this drawing thing, you like or not the design is not the point. Is you start drawing, and for some reason it's not working anymore. But when you draw, there are some monsters that come and distract you for absolutely no reason, even though you're not done yet. They just creep up in all four corners like this. And so, okay, it's fun, but the child is trying to focus and concentrate on an activity, and that's very, very important. So why would you have somebody pop up with blinky eyes in the middle of the activity? Useless. Fun, but useless. Okay, so in our Montessori letter sounds app, and again, it's not flawless, but I can show you how
Select your name tag.
How we show them what you expect from them first.
And
So the app traces the letter.
trace the letter with your finger.
And then asks the child to do it, and you can and the same in the sandbox, because this is how it's done in a classroom. You first trace on the sandpaper letters, which we can't do on the iPad obviously, and then you trace in the sand. So, and if you want to see it done again, you just touch it and it shows you again and again and again, just as many times as you like. And then you can erase and do it as many times as you like. Scaffold the activities in busy shapes, as Warren showed you. The child starts, like, this is the onboarding. No need to show him what to do in this one, because it's so obvious. And then he starts and he puts the little shape in the hole, and it gradually builds up. And most of our apps have progression algorithms, so that if the child gets it drawn 3 times, the next question will come down a level. But he won't know anything is happening, but it's just the app is sort of assessing if it should take him to the next level or stay at the same level or maybe go down a level. And that's all seamless. Scaffold the activity so that in this activity the bar fills up on its own, the little girl counts, and then it's her turn now. So the child swipes the bar and it fills up and he can count along with it. Allow them to repeat, my point earlier, if you just give them the possibility. So here I just finished the bear level, and would you like to do the bear again, or would you like to move on to the fox? One concept at a time. This is the real Montessori material, only one color, because we're teaching shapes and we're teaching real vocabulary. That was a big one for us, because these triangles, you know, we're teaching obtuse angles, Kayleen triangle. So our parents are like, what? Yeah, my child is 4. What are you? Yeah, how many names of Pokemons does he know? Huh? And dinosaurs. Yeah, exactly. So why couldn't he learn obtuse angle triangle? Take advantage of technology. These are great devices. They're very, very powerful. They should not be used as just PDF readers. And so this is the stamp game, a Montessori material, where when you get more than 10 units, you just pick them up, put them back in the box, and exchange them for a 10. So with the technology, we were able to reproduce this exchange, and so when the child swipes the numbers over, they transform into a 10. It's really cool. Very, very cool. Let them explore, again, the environment. This is Crazy Gears, and so they have all the gear that they need on there, and they need to solve the puzzle and test, trial and test. And error is fine. You need to make mistakes to learn. So in conclusion, I think you should use common sense. Often it works. Today's children are digital natives, and technology is and should be part of their lives. I don't think Maria Montessori would have said not to touch technology. I think digital media and Montessori are not opposed, and that's something that a lot of Montessorians disagree with. But if you want to know more about that, I can give you a theory afterwards. I strongly believe that the role of adults is vital. I mean, when we released our first app, we called out journalists, and this was 2010. The iPad had just been released. What was the first reaction? It's like, do you really think that a parent is going to hand a $700 device to a child? Like, come on. Well, duh. Should have kept her phone number, huh? So we all do. We all hand out these devices, but the question is, what's on there? Is it a prepared environment for the child? Is it a place where he can go and touch anything? If we're going to leave them on their own with it, we are responsible for whatever we give them. So choose the apps, test them, try them, and then choose whatever is on the device. That's common sense as well. We never said we were going to replace Montessori schools. We don't want to do that. We just want to bring out the Montessori pedagogy to more children. And we also think that digital activity should not replace all kind of living, and that we should be hooked to a screen all day. It's all a question of balance. You have to have some technology in, up to the parent or the educator to find the right mix and the right balance. And digital media and special needs children, it's a whole other presentation, but I also believe that it works great with children with special needs. And I think that Maria Montessori, who knew them very well, would have agreed with that as well. That's it for me. Thank you very much for listening.